Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our first parent virtual new student information session. I'm Brian Armstrong. I am the Assistant Vice President for Student Enrollment. I'm a proud TSU Tiger myself. And on behalf of all of us here at Texas Southern University, we welcome you new parents to Texas Southern University. And we're excited that your scholar has either chosen or is close to choosing Texas Southern University as their institution of choice for their educational journey. So we're excited to begin the process because everything now is official. We've had a couple of delays due to some hiccups with financial aid and some other delays, but as of May 14th, everything is live and ready. And so hopefully your scholars are receiving emails and information that allows them to begin to move forward in the process. Tonight, what we intend to do is share with you information about the steps and information behind those steps that your scholars need to begin the process of enrolling here at Texas Southern University. There are a few steps that your scholars will have to do and that you will have to do as parents to guide them. An informed parent is an informed student. And so we are excited that you're with us tonight, because in many cases, it'll be you parents who are helping to nudge, remind, go into emails, remind spam folders, and all that kind of good stuff. So, and then we look forward to meeting you when you come to one of our new student orientation sessions starting next month. So I see a couple of Q&As, or I saw a hand gets raised. Remember, parents, because of the webinar format, you can use the Q&A button at the very bottom down there. It should say 40, because mine is showing 40. And I know many of you were telling us where you were from. And if you're just coming in, go on down to the Q&A button and let us know where you're zooming in from tonight. And that's where you'll also submit any questions that you have for us about any next steps. So let me go ahead and share my screen real quick, because I do have a presentation that I want to share with you. And then I also have several colleagues that are on as well. So they will also be coming on very soon to share information from their areas that you may have questions about as well. All right, so parents, let's jump right in, all right? So before we talk about steps and next and checklists and things like that, let's first talk about this amazing university, Texas Southern University, one of the nation's largest historically Black colleges and universities, right in the heart of one of the nation's largest cities. So when students choose TSU, they're choosing Houston, and the two work very close together to make your scholars' educational experience one of the best. When it comes to being one of the HBCUs, we're one of the babies of the HBCUs, not even 100 years old yet, but we're almost there. Your scholars will actually be on campus as we celebrate our 100-year centennial celebration. So very excited to have your scholars be a part of that, which means parents, you will be a part of that as well. So that picture you're seeing right there, that is the picture that you will see when you come to campus for new student orientation, because that building that you're looking at in the forward picture is the Granville Sawyer Auditorium, where we will hold our new student orientation sessions. And that's right in the middle of our campus. We call that the main Tiger Walk, the Tiger Plaza right there. So all that good stuff. But you're going to learn tonight a little bit about some of the amazing academic programs that we offer here at TSU as well. Why has your scholar chosen TSU? Well, hopefully you had a little bit or a lot to do with it. But what our scholars tell us year after year are these 5 reasons that, that draw our new students to TSU. Our academic programs. We have some of the best programs there are from the undergraduate, graduate, and professional programs. So there's a lot they can choose to do academically right here. They can start and end right here with their educational journey, all that we have to offer. You're going to learn tonight how affordable TSU is. Now, for my in-state students, really affordable. For my out-of-state students, we got to talk about the affordability, because there may be some, myths about in-state residency and how does financial aid work with out-of-state. That's why we're on tonight. We intend to talk about those myths about residency and the out-of-state costs, because we're in May. We still have time to make Plan B or Plan C happen if a Plan B or a Plan C needs to happen. We hope not. We intend to share with you quite a bit of information, but in case the costs are not where they need to be, at least you have that information early enough to help your scholar. Location, right? Big city, big opportunities. So we'll talk more about that later. Two of the big reasons that students tell us they chose TSU are our student support services. I see AVP Barker on, and she's going to have some of her staff members on. We're all still here at TSU working to make sure that when your scholars arrive on campus, and to the time they cross that H&PE arena for graduation, they have all of the opportunities and resources and services that we know our scholars need to be successful. And of course, the campus life. Many students tell us they're coming to an HBCU, they're coming to an institution like TSU because they know the services and the campus life will be what it needs to be to not just make the academic part of it, but the entire part of their educational experience, one they will remember and be rewarded by with their career or next steps for their educational experience. So those are why your scholars are headed to Texas Southern University. And when they are headed to TSU, they will major in one of these schools or colleges. These are the 8 academic schools and colleges that provide our undergraduate degree programs. That's the very first degree they're working on. I know some of them may already have their associate's degree, so I don't want to say it may be the very first one, but the bachelor's degree, the undergraduate degree, which is what we offer here at Texas Southern University as the first degree. These are the 8 schools and colleges. These are important to know, because when your scholar applied to TSU, they had to select one of the majors that we offer. We don't have an undeclared major at TSU. We don't have undecided students. Well, as majors at least. They may be undecided, but every student who applied to attend TSU had to select a major. Parents, now may be a good time to have a talk with them about what they chose, because who knows what they put down back in October? Who knows what they were even thinking about? Now there could be a different change, right? They've had a whole spring semester to think about the rest of their life. So now, before they come to orientation, before they sign up for classes, now may be a really good time to have a heart to talk. Like, you said psychology. Is that where you still are? Or you mentioned aviation. Tell me more about that, because we have some time to update those majors if we need to. Here are those majors. These are the undergraduate academic degree programs that we offer here at TSU under the 8 schools and colleges. Now, for my first-time freshmen, they won't be under the College of Transdisciplinary Studies just yet. That's more for transfer students and older students. So the first 7 are the ones our first-time freshmen will be looking at, from our School of Business, our College of Education, we have the School of Communication, Liberal Arts and Behavioral Sciences, our School of Public Affairs, College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, College of Science and Engineering and Technology. So as you're talking about next steps for TSU, just have a conversation with your scholar about their major. They can log into their portal, and under their academic information, they will see what major we have down for them. And if a change is needed, they can contact us by email to make that change happen. All right, here we go. A few things I want to remind parents about for incoming freshmen. But before I even talk about these 3 things, parents, please do me a big favor. Please have your scholars check their spam folders, especially if they are using a Gmail account, which most of them are, right? 90% of them are using Gmail. We're noticing that many of our emails are going to spam folders, or one email may be going to their inbox, but maybe 3 or 4 of them are going to their spam folder. I'm grateful that you all got this email, because at least it went to the right folder. But please, remind your scholars, or you may want to do it yourself if you have access to their Gmail or their personal emails. But even for you parents, we intend to send out information during the summer about things you may be interested in knowing as well. So please remind your scholars to check their spam folders regularly. Some important emails do go there from time to time. For our new freshmen, please remind them, they're going to be excited about graduation. They probably already have one graduation if they're doing dual credit. But the hype of graduation and the end of their high school and K-12 experience will be very real very soon. But remind them to send us their final high school transcript. We critically need that transcript to finalize their admission to TSU. And parents, they're going to say, I already sent one, Mom. Don't worry about it. They got the one they got last semester. You're going to remind them that didn't have their graduation date. It didn't have their final high school GPA and things like that. So remind them, or work with the high school to send us their final high school transcript after graduation. After graduation, the date for graduation should soon appear on the transcript. If they're doing dual credit, remind them or let them know they will have to send us 2 transcripts. High schools do not send us college transcripts, even if they have a partnership with a local community college. Those are 2 separate processes. So work with the scholar can work with their dual credit coordinator or their college advisor or their to help them send us that college transcript. And then if they didn't take the SAT, I mean, they didn't send us their SAT or ACT because their amazing GPA didn't require it, we might still need that SAT or ACT for our placement exam. And we'll talk more about that in a few slides. But just kind of remind, I see our executive director of admissions coming on right now. She must have heard admissions and knew that was her time to come on in. Dr. Love, I'm reminding them what we need. We need final transcripts. We need college transcripts. And we may need SAT or ACT information if our scholars believe they may be exempt from our placement test. And then for those of you who have transfers coming in, remind them that we need to have all transcripts. There's a myth that the last school they attended is the only one we care about. Not true. We care about every single school they've attended. So if they've gone to more than one college or university, we need an official transcript from all those schools, not just the last one they attended. And we don't have a fresh start, I start over, I'm gonna do right next time kind of policy. Not yet, at least. I mean, after 10 years, we have a fresh start. But we do have some transfers who say, you know what? Don't even worry about what I did that last school. I'm coming fresh to you guys. It doesn't work that way. We need the official transcripts. We want to give our scholars credit for every class they've passed with a grade of C or better. So the only way to know to do that is to get all the transcripts. And also for the dual credit parents and for our transfer parents, have your scholars just double check their transfer credits. It can't hurt to have another set of eyes, or as parents, you may want to look at that as well. Any class they've earned a C or better in should transfer to TSU. And so if they have their transcript and the degree plan in front of them, it won't hurt to have a second or a third review. And if you find a discrepancy or you're not certain if everything transferred over, email us and let us know. We'd be happy to take a look at that and make that correction. We love to do that before you start registering for classes, not before you register for graduation, okay? So do that now to help us out. Tonight, we're gonna cover the steps to enroll, but I wanna kind of give you an overview of the simple steps that it takes your scholar to become our new TSU Tiger. So tonight, we're gonna go step by step for these steps, but this is it right here. And that QR code takes you straight to the webpage where the various links for these things are on our website. So that's the QR code. I'm going to remind you of this slide in a couple of seconds. So, I mean, a couple of slides. So, and I am going to post this video to our website. So if you're watching this as a recorded video, this information is live on our website right now through that QR code right there. All right, let's start talking about the magic of the MyTSU portal. When your scholars applied to TSU, we sent them a link for a prospective portal. But now that they've been admitted to the university, and I'm saying now, but ever since they've been admitted to the university, they've had access to the current student portal. So no matter where you go on the TSU website, you're going to always have this top bar at the top that follows you. And the circled MyTSU with the arrow, that is their link to the MyTSU portal. And right now we have 2 portals there. On the left, you have the prospective portal. On the right, you have the current student portal. We still have scholars trying to use the prospective portal. It's a big word, I understand, but it's no longer applicable to them. They are current students, now that they've been admitted to the university. So if your scholar is trying to put in a T number and some dates of tell them, they've moved into the big leagues. They now need to log into the current portal. The current portal does not use a T number. That's your first giveaway if they're using the right portal or not. The current student portal uses an email address and a password that has a capital Q and an exclamation point. And if they have not yet seen this information in their email, chances are it's hiding in one of those spam folders, because I've sent them several of these emails. And I'm saying me, but I'm the magic behind the emails right now. So if they have not yet received their TSU email account from the recruitment@tsu.edu email address, please have them check their portal. I promise you it's in there. And if it's not in there, then we don't have one assigned to them yet. We're going to have our OIT team look into that. But that's the information that they already should have access to. When they log in for the very first time, they're going to immediately be asked to set up the Microsoft multi-factor authentication app. That is how they're going to have secured access to their portal. Maybe once a day or once every now and then, they're going to be sent a text message or an email that allows them to put in a secure code to make sure it's them logging in. Now, parents, this applies to you, because if you're also accessing the portal and you have your scholar's password, you're going to also need to be in touch with them, because they're going to probably get a phone call or a text message to whatever number they give us in that Microsoft app. So you'll need to have that information as well. If your scholar gets locked out or doesn't have their information or doesn't know how to navigate the next step, they can call our help desk, easy, 713-313-HELP, 4357, or they can go to our website for information. That QR code right there takes them also to a page where they can reset their own password information. Once they log into the portal, this is how the portal looks. There's going to be a little button that says student, where they can click that little hover over it, and all of those links will show up there. I've given you a few highlights for some critical ones. I'll cover DegreeWorks tonight, but that beautiful one, financial aid, if they're looking for the money, it's hiding right under that financial aid link. It's nowhere else. There's not going to be a letter that gets, well, there may be a letter. I don't want to say what's not going to happen, but for many of you, if not all of you, if you log in tonight, or if your scholar is nearby you with their phone and they're logged in, they may already see their award letter. I know Ms. Palmer is going to talk about award letters tonight, but we are working behind the scenes over here. We've loaded quite a bit of financial aid into that financial aid tab right there. Ms. Felonice Marsaw Davis is on, and she's going to tell you about the Medicat Connect link, how to upload your vaccination record for the meningitis vaccination. And then we're going to talk about registration and records. Parents, your scholar should also double check their personal information and their My Profile, just to make sure that everything's current. Maybe they've moved since last semester, or a new phone number, a new email address. That's how they can keep their information current, so that we are sending current information to our scholars at the right time. We also have videos and how-to pages on our OIT website. So that QR code right there, I did not show this to your scholars, but we've been meeting and we're trying to find all the ways to help information be shared with our scholars. But parents, if your scholars are in, but they have no idea how to navigate the My TSU Current portal, that QR code will take them straight to the TSU OIT page. There's a lot of good videos and step-by-step tutorials that are on that page. I've given you a few highlights right there: academics and financial aid. So parents, this is not in their portal directly. This is on a live website. So if you need to kind of help navigate or inform your student, you now have the information that you can share with your scholars on how to navigate the My TSU Current Student Portal. And then once they log into the financial aid section, this is how that page will look. And right there, that very first tab, that's where they'll check to see if they have a current financial aid award letter in their My TSU portal. And now I'm going to turn it over to my good friend and my colleague, Ms. Felonice Davis Marsaw. She is the executive director for our Student Health Center. She has one goal here at TSU: to help keep TSU safe, and that includes our scholars here. So Ms. Davis Marsaw, are you able to come on and talk about information regarding the bacterial meningitis vaccination requirement?
Absolutely. Can you hear me okay?
I can, yes. Good
Well,
evening.
good evening, everybody. And thank you so much for spending your evening with us. And we appreciate you for sending your son or daughter to TSU. We are going to do our best to take very good care of them. As Dr. Armstrong mentioned earlier, I'm the executive director of Student Health Services. So I oversee the clinic that we have here. Your son or daughter will pay a $35 medical services fee for the fall and the spring, and a $17.50 fee for summer session 1 and summer session 2, should they go to those summer sessions. Those fees will include a visit with the doctor or the nurse practitioner, the nurse's visit, their exam, their diagnosis, their medication, and if there's anything else they need, like crutches, and hopefully they won't, it includes that too. But if they are referred out for any reason, then the fees for those services outside of the clinic will be, unfortunately, your responsibility. Again, we don't charge. So if you do have insurance, please send that information with your son or daughter and kind of walk them through how to use it, just in case they have to use it. So in addition to clinic services, we are also responsible for making sure the university is compliant with the state requirement that your son or daughter submit a bacterial meningitis vaccination record. And when you go, if you haven't done it already, to submit that bacterial meningitis record, it has to be for bacterial meningitis strands, ACWY, not the B series. So I know that sounds a little bit confusing, but there's actually 2 vaccinations for bacterial meningitis. One covers the B series, the other one covers ACWY. They're both very important because they both do the same thing to your body should you get it. We recommend that they do the B series, but the state requires us to have proof against vaccination for bacterial meningitis, ACWY. If they've already had it, it has to be taken within the past 5 years. So if the shot is older than 5 years, we're going to ask you to get another shot. Once you get that shot, you can upload it to the MyTiger Health Patient Portal or the Medicat Patient Portal at https://tsu.medicatconnect.com. And I think there's a link. The link is right there under MyTiger Health. If you're a transfer student and you will be 22 years old by the first day of class, you are exempt from that requirement. So if we still have that hold on your record, give us a call. We can look into Banner, we can look into Medicat, get proof of your birth date, and take that hold off. If you have any questions, I will still be on this call. You feel free to leave it in the Q&A, and we will get your questions answered. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Ms. Davis-Marsaw, for that great information. Parents, I know some of you are raising your hand, and because of the webinar format, we won't be able to recognize you through your hand being raised. So please use the Q&A button at the bottom or top of your screen. That's where you can put a question in live. We've got several staff members on. I see Dr. Butte Queen is on as well from the Office of the Provost. So several of us are on. Dr. Love is on from admissions. So questions that you have now we have a lot more to talk about. I already see questions about financial aid and housing. All of that will be addressed, but that's a great location to load those questions in. That way our team or I can answer them while we're live. So let's go ahead and move forward. And let's talk about the TSI assessment. And I believe Dr. Hobson was on earlier. Let me look and see if she's on. Okay, I don't see her on right now. So the TSI exam, let me go back a slide. So in Texas, and I know we have parents from all over the nation that are on with us tonight, but if you're in Texas, then you may be familiar with the TSI assessment. That is the state's placement exam. Every student, every new student who attends TSU must take the TSI assessment unless they're exempt, they are transferring in college credit, or they have other things that they've done to not have to take the TSI. Most students in Texas have probably already taken the TSI in high school, especially if they've done dual credits in high school. So your scholar can check with their high school guidance counselor or their college advisor at high school to learn about the TSI assessment or whatever the high school is doing to prepare students for the TSI placement exam. We need that information before your scholars will be able to register for classes. So if they've taken the TSI, this is the web page right here, the middle of the page, there's it says click here to release TSI scores. If your scholar already has TSI scores, they can click that link to send those scores to us. If they've not yet taken the TSI, now this is for my out-of-state students in particular, very likely they have not yet taken TSI if they're not in Texas. So they would have to sign up to take the TSI, and they can take it from their home state before they come to campus and before they even begin to sign up for classes. It's a requirement before they can sign up for classes, but they can start taking the TSI as soon as now. So if you're outside of Texas, it said that webpage right there is where you can sign up for the TSI remotely. Take it at home, take it at a high school. That information can be set up through a remote process. Dr. Hobson's working right now. She had one last Saturday, but this is how she informs students of the TSI information. We give it on campus on a scheduled basis, but we can also do it remotely. So you don't have to come to our campus to take the TSI assessment. If you're in Texas, but you're not in Houston, chances are a community college nearby you may also offer the TSI exam. Just double check before you take the exam at a community college or university. Some schools have a policy that they only will use the TSI for that institution. So you want to make sure that's not the case, because you don't want to take the TSI and it just only be available for that school that you're taking the TSI at. Mainly community college don't have that policy because they know that they're offering that as a community service, but for universities in particular, they may have a policy. So just double check, but you should be able to take the TSI in person at a community college near you. Certainly you can do it remotely through our website. So you want to make sure that you do that over the next 2 to 3 weeks to make sure that by the time you begin to register for classes, you get those final transcripts in, you are cleared and the team can begin to help you pick your schedule. I saw one parent had a question about, will classes be full? Classes will fill up in the summer, especially those English and math classes. So you don't want to rush and panic, and it's not, essential for tomorrow, but you don't want to wait until July and August to do that, because at that time classes will begin to fill up. And so May and June are great times to take the TSI, turn in TSI scores, or qualify for one of the exemption requirements. The exemption information is on our website, our TSI website. So it says click here for TSI exemptions. What are those exemptions? Students who have pretty high SAT or ACT scores, that the score rubric will be on that website there. Students who are transferring to TSU or have dual credits, they may qualify for an exemption. Students in the military, some of them may qualify for an exemption. Students that are in the active military. So if your scholar was admitted to TSU and they didn't need to turn in an SAT or ACT score for their admission, they still may want to get that turned into us as soon as possible if they feel that they meet the exemption requirements. If they don't meet exemption requirements and they're already admitted, I'm not certain what else the SAT or ACT would benefit the scholar, but we won't mind getting it and adding it to their academic record. We just don't need it for any other purpose at this time. What we need it for right now would be to see if they qualify for an exemption for the TSI exam. That would be for all students. Texas and non-Texas residents can see if they qualify for an exemption due to their high SAT or ACT scores. And that information is under there where it says, click here for TSI exemptions. If they're exempt and we have the exemption information, we're going to update their record. If we don't have the exemption information, we need that as soon as possible to update them in our system. Because remember, they must have a TSI exam to register for classes. And I believe Ms. Davis-Marsaw mentioned your scholars must have turned in their meningitis vaccination to apply for housing. Not even after they've applied. The process to apply requires that they turn in that vaccination. So if they're thinking, well, I'll do that in July, but I'm applying for housing now, that's backwards, because they won't even have access to the housing portal unless they've already turned in their vaccination record. And from what I'm hearing, housing is also one of those first come, first serve limited opportunities. So parents, if you know your scholar, needs to live on campus to attend TSU, you don't want to wait until June or July for that, because by then it might be to the point where our housing is full on campus. So I don't want to alarm you prematurely, but early alert is being given tonight and Thursday. And parents, I'm glad that you're on, because you get first dibs at knowing that those are the steps we need for those housing and registration requirements. If you're in Texas, parents, if you're in Texas, your scholar may have taken the Texas College Bridge, which is a thing the state is doing to help students who didn't take the TSI exam. Many ISDs in Texas are partnering with the Texas College Bridge, as is TSU as a university partner. This is actually a waiver of the TSI exam for up to 2 years. So if they get one of these certificates, and there's two versions, there's a math one, there's an English one. So if their high school didn't do TSI, but they participated in the Texas College Bridge, then we're going to need their certificates sent to our TSI email address there. This will allow them to take college level math and English courses during the first 2 years. And once they earn a grade of C or better in the course, they are no longer required for the TSI requirement. They would be considered college ready at that time. So just double check. Maybe you've heard, maybe you haven't, parents, if you're in Texas, but the Texas College Bridge may also be an option for your scholars to take not have to take the TSI. Now, we encourage them to take the TSI. The TSI gives them a real assessment of where they are in math, reading, and writing. And if they don't score the minimum score to be college ready, we here at TSU can help them become college ready. This waiver just kind of gives them some online, information and some tutorials, but it never substitutes for the real thing. And the real thing is the TSI exam. So if the scholars can take the TSI, get their score, and see where they are academically, it helps them be prepared for their first year of college reading, college writing, and college math courses. So that's the information there. That's just for Texas residents. So if you're out of state, this doesn't apply to you, to my knowledge at least. But I know in Texas, this is very common among many of the ISDs. All right, it's time for part of what you've come for. I know many of you've come for the housing information, but I know all of you've come to learn about the financial aid information. And I see Ms. Palmer was on with me earlier, so I'm going to double check to see if she's still with me. I see her there. So Ms. Palmer, the part of the show where you become the star has arrived. So please share with our parents information about what it takes for them to get access to their financial aid award information.
All right, welcome everyone. Good evening. What you're looking at is the FAFSA form. It's on studentaid.gov. I think most of you are familiar, but to gain eligibility, you want to start off by completing this. You're going to complete the section that says 24-25. Now, for our students that are doing summer classes, we're still using 23-24. That website is actually studentaid.gov. But I'm sure that will redirect you. The TSU school code that you would need to add to your FAFSA is 003642. You can also search it by name, but that is our school code to make it quicker. Of course, the FAFSA has been open since December 31st. It was a little delayed just because the Department of Education made a lot of changes this year. They supposedly simplified it. I thought it was a little bit easier, but for some people that haven't done it before, it may still be a little bit more complicated just because this changes all around. So TSU priority deadline was May 1st. Most of you guys got it done by then. Let me enlarge my screen. There we go. So the FAFSA is beneficial because it gives us eligibility for the following. You have financial aid grants, student loans, and work studies. So basically the difference between grants and loans and work studies is just grants and work study you do not have to repay, whereas student loans you do have to repay. There are some differences between these. We can go into a little bit more details if you were to swing by the office or give us a call. But just to kind of graze over it, subsidized is the loan that does not accumulate interest while you're actively attending at least part-time and in certain repayment plans. The unsubsidized is earning interest on it while it is being paid. Of course, to gain any eligibility for student loans, you must be enrolled for at least 6 hours. So that means that typically at least 2 classes for you to qualify for these loans. Grants, that is going to be based off of need that's indicated on the FAFSA application. So you have the Pell Grant, you have Supplemental Education Opportunity Grant, some of these other Texas grants that are eligible for our students as well, and work study. That's when the student is able to work on campus with the school. And right now, those are typically first come, first serve, and you do have to qualify. So there's another office for that. You can come and visit us between 1 to 5, and you can get qualified for that. Any questions so far? Let me look to the chat. Do we have any questions?
One question that I see, Ms. Palmer, is the TASFA. Where can the students find the TASFA information?
So I can actually send that. I don't think it's on our website so much. So let me send that. I'm gonna add that. So let me circle back to it and I'll add that to to answer your question. I add that link for you.
Perfect. And I know some parents are asking about like, what will it look like when we log in? And I know we have a few slides
We
how
do have
that
a
will
few
look.
slides.
So parents, here you go. This is how we
Yep.
share the award information through the MyTSU portal. I know at the
Yes,
top it says 23-24. It will now say
that's fine.
24-25 now that we have them loaded in.
Yes. So on the MyTSU portal, you will go in there. It's going to show you, if you've been in there so far, like you said, it's going to be the one on the right where you put in your username and password. It should be a T number that's assigned to you. So you're going to go ahead and do that. Once you log in, it'll be a little drop down where you can select financial aid. When you select financial aid, you will see 3 boxes. And the first box says status of financial aid. That's where you will click. You would click there and then it will show you kind of this presentation here about the cost of attendance. And the cost of attendance is just an estimate breakdown. There you go. Where'd it go? So
Financial
that's
aid, you click
yep,
that and then it takes you right there.
exactly. Status of financial aid. So you would check that, you would click that box where the arrow is, and it's going to give you that presentation that we were just looking at that showed the cost of attendance, which is the estimated cost. These are billable items that are not billable to you. So basically, we're able to use these numbers to calculate how much need a student has so we can determine how much eligibility they are qualified for. That comes into play in some cases where things may change. We may have to give you a little bit more funding, or maybe some expenses change. So we can adjust that just to give you more funding. But you typically do not see anything besides the tuition and fees. The other things are estimate items that we give to the Department of Education to determine why we award you what we award you. So you will first see this, and then after that, you can click the second tab. That will show you all of the funding that you have been awarded based off of your eligibility. Now, some students have been coming in saying, hey, I don't see any eligibility yet. Do keep in mind that we are able to award you based off of your enrollment too. So if you're not enrolled, we can't too much say what you're going to qualify for. So definitely students that are coming in, make sure that you're working on that section. So at least you know how many credits you're going to take and begin the enrollment process. So a registration process, so we can award you according to your level of enrollment. But anyhow, this is again the cost of attendance, a breakdown, estimated cost of attendance based off the Department of Education estimated costs that it takes to be a student. What you would see is the tuition fees. All right, so this is an example of what it would look like if you were awarded. It would say the semester that you're attending, the fund source that you're getting, and then it will give you on the right-hand side the amount. And also here you see it says accepted. If it was not in accepted status, it would say offered, and you can select modify, accept, or decline. So that'll let you know that you can choose your fund source and how much you want to approve for. And then you would click submit, and that's how we know in financial aid that you have accepted your funding, and we can go ahead and begin a disbursement process.
And I know, Ms. Palmer, this example has 2 loans, but this would be where you would see grants, scholarships,
yep.
waivers, anything that you receive, all of that will be on your award letter, just like you see those 2 loans. So that's just the example that we've used for this presentation, but all financial aid, grants, scholarships, loans, work study, exemptions, waivers, all of that appears on the financial aid award information.
Yes,
And it's available in the MyTSU portal.
Correct. This student is an example of a graduate student. So that's why you do not see any grants typically, because graduate students wouldn't get the Pell Grant, but undergraduates would see the Pell Grant option, most likely as long as they're eligible. And then you see subsidized and unsubsidized loan and the Parent Plus loan if they're dependent. So it's a little different, but it is broken down with grants first, then loans, and then you have the submit button at the bottom. Okay.
I see a question in the chat about visiting the campus. Parents, during the summer months, starting on Monday, we will go to a 4-day, 10-hour workday schedule starting on Monday, May 20th, where we work from 7:30 to 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday. We are open during the summer. Now, we are going to host 9 in-person orientation sessions. So we wouldn't want you to come to campus just for financial aid and then have to come back for an orientation session. So you may have a chance during orientation to visit various offices on campus. So very soon you should be able to see the dates we have. Maybe one of the June or early July sessions would be a great one to come to, because you might need to get some hands-on information from financial aid. So we are open during the summer, Monday through Thursday from 7:30 to 6 p.m. through the summer months, through July. We will go back in August to our normal 8 to 5, Monday through Friday schedule. And then Ms. Palmer, I think we have one last slide regarding the financial planning information.
Yeah, so this last slide is actually the last tab on that portal section, and it is the award letter. So this one you can print out. It will give you the breakdown of your costs and your different fund sources. So you're going to see on there scholarship, grant, everything listed here, and it's going to give you what your requirements to pay are, loan options. So this is really your award letter. The other one is letting you know what you're offered, and then you can approve it, and then it generates this for you. This actual award letter financing plan. Okay, and then it breaks down the cost of pretty much what things mean. So on this other side where it says glossary, it goes into a little bit more details for you. If you do have questions on what these line items mean, of course, you can always come to the office and we'll walk you through it. You know, it's just up to you, but this is in your portal as well.
Ms. Palmer, the majority of the emails regarding financial aid appear to be cries for help. I don't see anything. Nothing's there. What should I do? Why is mine not there? Can you share with the parents what's happening live right now, and then how to follow up on that to see when awards will show up there if they don't see anything right now?
Yes, I mean, we are working a lot of our summer students right now, but I have also seen some fall students already awarded. I just want to I want everyone to know registration has to be done. I've had a lot of students come in saying that they don't have any funding, but we cannot award if we don't see that you're registered for anything. So that's actually the first step. We want to make sure that you're registered for classes so we can begin to give you financial aid. But I have seen a few that were awarded already, thankfully. And then keeping between the 17th onward is when we're really going to start focusing on fall, because right now we're focusing on the summer and May, well, not May, but summer sessions. So we did.
I want to clarify with you, because when you say register, that's going to blow up the registration folks. Like, wait a minute, Ms. Palmer said I need a schedule with 12 hours and I got to have Monday. Typically, we don't need a student to have a registration to award them, but that doesn't hurt to have them register. But I know some students can't register right now. They won't be able to register until sometime in June when we get their final high school transcript. So I know the message is just check your portal. If you think that something's weird and wrong, email us, let us look into it. But we just started awarding financial aid this week. So you're not late. We were late because the federal government was late. So it's not you, it's us. So don't panic, parents, if you see nothing there. But do reach out if you think that something should be there. The team is ready to assist you with, because there may be a glitch we need to look at, or there may be something that we need to look into to make sure. There's something that many students are choosing. I only want an unsub loan, and they don't know what they're doing. Parents, that's one of the new weird things about the FAFSA. So we will work with you and your scholars. So don't panic and don't feel frustrated. The system is running every single day to add award information. So please continue to check have your scholars check their MyTSU portal. But now we are just awarding. Go ahead.
We have sent out some emails with corrections that are needed for the FAFSA too. So like you said, just go ahead and continue checking those so we can make sure you have a valid FAFSA on file.
I see a parent that says, sometimes we cannot rely on the child. Spoken like a true parent. We understand, parents, which is why we are hosting this just for you tonight, because we understand that your child may not be thinking about any of this until it's time to think about all of it. And this is some of this is very time sensitive. Parents, many of you are veterans or are active military. And let me, on behalf of all of us, say thank you for your service to our nation. The Financial Aid Office also oversees our Veterans Office as well. So the team has a website. That QR code will take you to that website. You can also see a contact the team link there. You can email them at veteransaffairs@tsu.edu. But those are the 5 steps. And I'm not sure if every step applies to every veteran, depending on what benefit they qualify for. But those are the 5 main steps that our veterans and active military members need to complete to help their scholars or to help themselves learn about or apply for the military and veteran benefits for them or their scholars. So Mr. Bowers, Ms. Lane, Dr. Addison, they're all ready to help our veterans and our active military members. We are proud to be one of the nation's military-friendly schools. So please let us know how we can help you understand what benefits are available, what you're eligible for, and how to complete the process to be reviewed for that information. So That's the information right there for veterans and our active military information. And we're going to cover scholarships next, parents. I see scholarships. Wait a minute. Where's this other good money that you're talking about? It's our next slide. But I want to take a moment to share with all of our parents. We got quite a few of you on right now, and we're glad that you're on with us still. But parents, you're either in one of two of these categories for your scholars. Your scholars are either in Texas, meaning they're a Texas resident, or they're a non-resident, which means they're out of state or they're international. We pride ourselves on being a very affordable university, but it is not a free university. And it does require you to know and understand the investment that you're about to undertake as you help your scholar plan to attend TSU. The top up here, you can see the in-state costs. To summarize all of that, it's about $20,000 a year for your scholar to attend TSU and live on campus. Now, that number will vary depending on the number of hours they take, the meal plan they choose, the housing facility they're assigned to, but that's an average of what it costs. So if someone's calling me right now and saying, just give me the number, I'm writing a check, it would be $10,000 per semester. If the student is coming from out of state, it jumps up to about $32,000, $35,000 a year. Now let's talk about residency. So this is in particular for my out-of-state and my international out-of-state students. There's a myth that if they live in Texas or they go to TSU for a year, they're going to automatically qualify for residency. That is not the case. I oversee residency. I work with several team members here at TSU, but residency falls under my leadership at TSU. And I've been working at TSU for some decades. Residency is not that easy to gain. A student or the parent must meet residency requirements. Those are not TSU requirements. They must meet the state of Texas residency requirements. And before we end this webinar, we're going to cover where that information is on our website. But the myth is they just live in Texas, or they put down a Texas address, or they go get a voter ID card, or they get a Texas driver's license. All myths, all not ways to get residency, parents. We're saying it in April and May, so that way it doesn't become a shock in August or September or next August when you've been thinking all this past upcoming year, well, I don't mind 1 year because the next 3, easy money, but they're going to be out of state all 4 years or 2 years if they're transferring or dual credit. The rule is 4 years of out of state. So that's the investment you have to be prepared to make to send your child to Texas Southern University from out of state. There are ways that a scholar or the parent can qualify for residency. The most simple way for me to say it is your scholar or you must live and work in Texas for a year to qualify for residency. Now, there are some property things and there are a couple of other ways, but the majority, 99% of the time, your scholar must live and work in Texas. It is not using their grandmother's address in Dallas and they live in Arkansas. It is not using the 3103 Towers address. They must live off campus. They must work off campus, or they can work on campus, but it can't be through work study. Texas says the student or the parents must establish a domicile. That is not just working and that is not just living. So I want to make sure that we talk about that because that may be wait a minute now. I didn't mind $35,000 for 1 year, but not for 4 years. Well, we want them to come to TSU all 4 years, but we want to make sure that they know, and you as parents know, because we don't want to, it's hard to hear a parent tell us a year later, if I had known this a year ago. We're a year ago right now, parents. And we're talking about it right now. That way you have informed information to make the best decision for you and your scholar. Many of you are in the chat asking about waivers. Yes, with some of our scholarships, academic, merit, talent, many of these scholarships come with waivers, but those waivers are not guaranteed. A scholarship doesn't have to come with a waiver. Texas gives each public university so many waivers to pass out, to award. So those are very limited waivers. That goes to athletics, that goes to academics, that goes to talent areas like band and debate, choir, cheerleading. When those waivers are gone, they are gone. And so a scholar may still qualify for a scholarship, but they may not qualify for a waiver to allow them to pay in-state tuition. So it's very important, parents, for my out-of-state parents, that you understand this information tonight and have a conversation with your scholar about the affordability of TSU. We are affordable, but only you know how affordable we are. And so one other myth that I want to make sure that I dispel tonight is financial aid can help me go to TSU out of state. Very limitedly. The federal government does not care that you want to go out of state to go to college. They don't award you enough money to go out of state. They only award you enough money to be educated, primarily through either a state university or a community college. And if that needs to be added to the plan, to add that as a possibility, it's better to do it in May than to do it in August or January of next year. So parents, this is why we wanted to call you on tonight and take a little bit of your evening, because this information can be game changing, right? You may already have it covered. And so we're just talking about it as getting you ready for what's about to happen. But for many of our out-of-state students, they come, and parents also come with the understanding of, oh, well, she's getting financial aid. That should cover whatever it should cover. Doesn't cover out-of-state in many cases. The only thing that really helps a parent for an out-of-state student is a Parent Plus loan, an approved Parent Plus loan. So just kind of keep that in mind, parents. I'm going to keep monitoring the chat to see if you now have questions that I can, better help answer. I know my colleagues are still on too. Let me see, before I go forward, I saw a question about concerned. Let me go up. I know my colleagues are on it too, but let me see. I'm only confused because it only says 23-24, not 24-25. That's okay. If you don't see 24-25, make sure that you turned in a 24-25 FAFSA and make sure you put TSU on it. So those are things you can do right now to double check to see if you should have that. But remember, we are just now awarding financial aid. Give it maybe a couple of days. I would say that by next week, if you know that you put TSU on your FAFSA for 24-25 and you don't see award letters, email us at financialaid@tsu.edu. Let us look into it at that point. But don't think that tonight you are owed an award letter. We're just now doing it. I see several of you saying you see errors. That error may get corrected over the next couple of days, not weeks, but days. So by Monday of next week or Tuesday of next week, that error may have corrected itself. But if not, you have access to us, financialaid@tsu.edu. Several of you are saying you see errors. Those errors are just because we just start. Normally, we would have awarded months ago, but because we just got updates in our system, we're just doing it live. Typically, we wouldn't have done this webinar that close to it, but we don't want to wait too much longer because I just dropped a whole bunch of information about what it costs to go to TSU. It just so happens that we're live right now with awarding. So if you're seeing a blank page or error, you don't have to, I would wait until Monday or Tuesday. Ms. Barker, go ahead.
Yes, can you respond to two things? One, to be clear, do they need to have a final transcript in order to register for classes? And then the other one is the link for the orientation, please.
Yes, we will cover orientation on our last slide. The link will be there. Students do not need to have a final high school transcript to register for classes. They have to sign up for orientation and they have to submit their TSI scores to register for classes and turn in their vaccination record. So let me say those three things again. They must turn in their vaccination record that has a valid meningitis vaccination record on there. They must take the TSI or turn in their TSI information. They must sign up for orientation. They sign up for orientation in their MyTSU email or their email. We're going to send them, we're sending emails right now. Students are already signing up. They do not need a final high school transcript to register, but they will need their final high school transcript to keep their registration during the summer. Because by the time we start the fall semester, if a scholar has registered and we don't have their final high school transcript, they will not be eligible for financial aid. I don't want to go that dramatic just yet, but those are the answers to the question. How do they get their registration? Vaccination, TSI, sign up for orientation. And I'll cover that again on the very last slide of the presentation.
And just to add a little bit to that, there are a couple of parents that are turning in for students that have deferred their admission. Those are different. And so those questions are specific. My responses are specific to those individuals. But for the masses, that's correct. If you're deferring your admission and you graduated previously, other than upcoming semester, then yours is a little bit different. But I've addressed those in the chat.
And I see questions about the TSI email. Parents, remember I gave a heads up to have your scholars check their spam folder, because if they've been admitted, now if they were, well, even this week, we've already sent out the MyTSU email information, even for students we admitted this week. We're trying to stay on top of it week by week. So if your scholar has been accepted to TSU, which is the only way that you got this invitation, they should already have an email either in their inbox or their personal, in their spam folder, to see their MyTSU. I would have emailed them their TSU email address and the password configuration and the Microsoft app information and how to contact our OIT office to get that up, reset if it needs to be. That would have been sent to them. I sent that to their personal email address. Now, some of your scholars gave us 4 emails when they applied for admission, and chances are they're checking one of them daily. And I don't know which one. So parents, when they log into their portal, they can see what emails they've sent to us, but have them check all of them just to be safe, especially if they use their high school email, because I don't know if they're still checking high school like they used to maybe, but imagine all this good stuff just sitting right there like, open me, you looking for me, here I am. So, or if they change their Gmail, I have young ones, they change emails, they forget passwords, friends try to hack them. So now they're going to use a different one. Well, they forgot that all that TSU good stuff is loaded into that old one. So please help your scholars be email savvy and double check all the ones they may have turned in, the AOL, the iCloud, the Hotmail, the Yahoo, the Rocket, all of them, because we get all kinds of them. And then when we call, sometimes we direct them to the spam folder and magically all that good stuff is sitting right there. But if not, email us, let us know. We don't want you to wait for an email to come that we thought came. We want you to make sure that you have access, but please use that information. But we do email the information, the MyTSU email address and the MyTSU password configuration. We send that. How do you get the emails inside the portal? When you log into your portal, you're going to see an icon that says emails. You'll be able to check your emails there. And there is a way, I don't know if any of my colleagues want to jump on and help navigate, but there is a way to link your emails. Haven't gotten that far down the information chain. My job is more broader than more specific, but the scholars tell me that there is a way that you can link the emails. But if you log into your portal, you can see your emails inside of there as well. So, and make it a habit to check those emails. A lot of good information will come to your TSU email that may not always come to your personal email. All right, let me keep going. We have a lot to talk about, and I want to make sure that I'm mindful of the time, but please keep sending your emails, your text messages, your questions in the chat section. My colleagues are working to kind of give updates while we're presenting this information. Scholarships. I have some great news. Every new scholar to TSU will receive at least $1,000 Tiger Paw scholarship. They won't get 2 of them. They won't get the band and Tiger Paw. They won't get this big Regents, but every scholar at TSU will receive a scholarship to attend TSU. The Tiger Paw scholarship, regrettably, is not a competitive scholarship, so it does not come with an out-of-state tuition waiver. It's just our way of, providing some additional support to help our scholars, both in and out of state, afford to attend TSU. These top 3 are our top 3 freshman academic scholarships. Many of your scholars, and I'd love to see in the chat if your daughter or son has received, because some parents are saying we haven't gotten anything. Well, believe us, we've been behind the scenes sending out scholarships since October of last year. So if your scholar has gotten a scholarship, can you let everybody else know? We don't need names and amounts, but if you could hit up the chat so that we can see if any of our parents are on. Well, parents, if you don't know that, then your scholar may know that. So we have awarded millions of dollars already. We are going to continue to award scholarship dollars until the dollars have all been awarded. So have your scholar to keep checking their emails, their personal and their TSU emails for that information. These are the top 3 scholarships. We have transfer scholarships, so have them check their information for that. But also, parents, have them check our external scholarship page. Now, it's hard to hear scholars tell me that a dollar amount of a scholarship is too low for them to waste their time on. I'm in high schools all the time, and I have scholars who tell me if the dollar is not 4 digits or high, then they're not gonna bother with it. My scholars don't realize that 2 $500 scholarships is a 4-digit scholarship, and 5 of those is a 5. So if they start to do the math, and get their scholarship search on, they'll find that they may find some opportunities to help them to afford to attend TSU out of state or even in state. So that's a website that we have live right now, and we have an amazing partnership with the Thurgood Marshall College Fund and several corporations and companies. I'm going to show you a next slide where our Alumni Association is giving out a scholarship. And your scholar, if they, were admitted over the past, outside the last week or two, they should also have this email from me that tells them how to apply for our National Alumni Scholarship. So these are just a couple of examples. The university isn't the only resource for those scholarships. Quite honestly, those corporations have way more money to give out than we do. And so please, utilize that information to research for those scholarships. I see a question here. Is there an option to attend orientation virtually if we, it went fast. I think I missed the question. Oh, if we don't live in Houston, so we don't have to travel twice for orientation and then again on move-in day. We don't have a virtual orientation session. So we would need you to make plans to travel to Houston at least once. If it's not feasible for you to transfer, we will have opportunities to engage our scholars virtually for step-by-step information. We do have a summer orientation that's scheduled. Dr. Love, I'm not sure if that will be available to just our summer admits or our summer and our fall admits. We can double check that, but we want to see you. We want to get a chance to have you come to the campus. We've given you 9 dates. Some of them are in August. One of them's on a Saturday in July. Hopefully that's enough time to find an economically reasonable way. We'd love to have you walk around campus before you move in, because move-in is a move-in process. And so there's not a lot of touring going on move-in day and things like that. So we hope that our parents and our scholars get a chance to come to campus. We have already hosted 4 virtual information sessions. We have 2 of these. So be quite fair with you. Much of what you're going to get at orientation, you're getting in a virtual way tonight. So if traveling to Houston is a challenge financially, you're getting the majority of the information. What you're not getting is the chance to be on our campus and to meet us in person and to kind of get some information explained in a in-person way. But we don't want you to we don't want you to find yourself financially struggling to come to our campus, but we did provide 9 dates that we hope gives our scholars and their parents a chance to come to the campus during the summer to just, kind of do a walkthrough and meet us and make sure everything is set before they do move in on our Sunday move-in date. I mentioned all scholars will get at least a $1,000 scholarship. They won't get 2 of them, so they won't get a Tiger Paw and band or Tiger Paw and debate. But if they're not getting any other scholarship, they will be receiving at least the $1,000 Tiger Paw scholarship. And then I know I'm not sure if Mr. Thomas or any of my colleagues are on, so I'll quickly, if they'll hop on and let me know. But this is the website, parents, that you can go to see our tuition and fees and how to make payments, installments. We've talked quite a bit about financial aid tonight. That is the primary way most students pay for college. But parents, sometimes financial aid doesn't cover everything. And so there are installment plans that your scholar can sign up for. If they've used their financial aid and they're still short, they can sign up for an installment plan, or if they don't qualify for any financial aid, or just loans and they don't want the loans, or the loans are not enough to cover everything, then installment plans, typically it's 25% of the bill that's due to secure their registration, and then they'll have 3 equal installments for 4 total installment payments. So, and then of course, housing will tell you what their installment process is. They're on and they'll let you know what that information is. Dr. Love, I know that we have a couple of parents asking about international stuff, so I know that you're probably still on monitoring that as well. So parents, this is the information. You see Mr. Thomas and Ms. Lemmy's contact information there. Please let them know if you have questions. This office also handles any pre-college savings plans that you may have signed up for 18 or 19 or 17 years ago. So if you have those kinds of college payment plans, the student accounting office will help with that. Scholarships are sent to the student accounting office. Refunds are also processed out of the student accounting office. Refunds are when we've received more financial aid than the student needs. then the office will process a refund. And keep in mind, parents, we process student accounts and tuition and fees twice a year, fall and spring. I know we've talked tonight about awarding through the year, but you'll have to remember to take that award letter and cut it into two. Not literally, but you know what I mean, divide it into two. Half for the fall, half for the spring. So that's how we award financial aid for the year. We anticipate our scholars being here for the whole year, but we don't charge them tuition and fees, annually. It's done by semester. So if they see a $5,000 grant and they, that means $2,500 for the fall and $2,500 for the spring. But when they look at their tuition and fees, that will also be broken down by fall and by spring. That's not done annually. So they may see $5,000 for tuition and fees, but they'll have to multiply that by 2 to get an annual tuition and fee estimate. But they'll use their annual financial aid to pay half for fall and half for spring. So all of that good stuff is there for, and including third-party payments. If your scholar is going to have a third party pay their tuition and fees, some of it or all of it, that is also handled by our Office of Student Accounting. Just remember, during the summer months, we are open Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 6 p.m. Central Time, and that is starting on Monday through the end of July. All right, I see the team on to tell you about the amazing opportunity your scholars will have to live right here at Texas Southern University. I see Mr. Long on, and I see Mr. Anderson on, so I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues because I'm sure they have a lot to share and some updates to share with you from the chat about what it takes to have your scholars become our new residents right here at TSU.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lamonte Long, and I'm the Assistant Director here, Leasing and Housing and Residence Life Department. First off, thank you all for being here after 5 o'clock. I know it's been a long day, and TSU staff, thank you all for being in attendance. I think this is a good time to share some valuable information because when we're talking to students, sometimes they can misunderstand information. So I think this is a good time for us to just understand these key dates, key processes, and especially housing, because a lot of the calls are about what am I eligible for, what amount is due on what date. So I'm just happy to be here this evening to share some important information. So right here on the screen, you all see the website, how to access the housing application. So each scholar will basically click that link right there in the blue to access the housing application. We opened back on May 1st, so you have to be an admitted student to actually access the housing application. That is important because sometimes students think for some reason that they can gain access to the housing application without being an admitted student. Not a prospective student, but actually an admitted student. We have what is called the single sign-on process. That's a security verification way to ensure that you are indeed that student. For our first-year students, for our females, all females, they'll be housed in our university towers. It is a shared space here on campus. And you all, for sure, once you come to the orientation, you all will get a tour of it. And for our first-time male applicants, they'll be eligible for Lanier West or Transformation Village. Again, these are all shared spaces. Most of the time, students and parents call and ask, well, will my son or my daughter, can they have a room to themselves? The answer is no. All spaces are shared. And when they go into the housing application, every female, she'll only see towers, and every male, they'll only see Transformation Village or Lanier West. So, Mr. Long, how to get started with the housing application? Well, step 1, you all going to access the housing application. Step 2, you all will need to go in and apply for housing, and there'll be a $200 non-refundable housing application fee that'll be billed within 48 hours after the student has submitted the housing application. Another question that we often get asked, is it a deposit? Well, it is a fee. It's a non-refundable housing application fee. So that means that's required for our team to go in and actually process the student's application so that we can start moving on to the next steps. A student cannot pay the $200 the moment they submit the housing application. Oftentimes students call and say, hey, I just submitted my housing application at 10:30. Well, now it's 11:15 and they're wanting to pay. So the student will receive an email once the $200 housing application fee is ready to be paid, because we'll know, my leasing team will know when that fee has been exported over and hit the student account. The student will get an automated email to let them know, hey, these are the instructions to log back into your student account to make your $200 housing application fee payment. So once the student goes in and make their payment, they'll get another email, what is called a lease acknowledgement email, to let them know that they need to go in and acknowledge their lease. The lease basically is the legal binding document that our team and the department knows that this is the document that they'll need to adhere to. Like, for example, the June 1st date, the installment amount, how much the student is paying for the entire year. They get information about how much financial aid, if a student is using financial aid, how much he or she will need to be confirmed for housing, paying for housing, meal plan, and fees at 100%. All of that they'll get in an email the moment they go in and submit their housing application and sign their lease. And then after that, which is on one of our latter steps in the process, if a student is confirmed for housing, and this is the most important part. So there's two ways a student can get confirmed for housing. One, they can use their financial aid. So with our leasing team, what we do here in our department, if a student is using financial aid, kind of like that cost calculator that Dr. Armstrong was showing previously, we look at, for in-state students, we look at that overall $20,000 for the year. That's about $10,000 per semester. And then for out of state, we look at around $35,000 for the year. That's about $17,500 per semester. So if a student is awarded that and they've accepted it, that pays for housing, meal plan, tuition, and fees at 100%. So that means the student will not have to pay, for example, $679.60 each month if they are awarded that. Same for students who's in state for $20,000. You will not have to pay the $679.60 each month. However, if you below that, then we'll start sending you an installment amount notice saying, hey, you're required to pay the $679.60. So those are important steps, and I know that's a lot within a small time frame, but I'm happy to assist you any way I can. I have two other leasing coordinators here in our department who will be happy to share any information with you. But once you go in and start your housing application process, you'll start getting automated emails. And lastly, another important question that comes to my mind that a lot of students ask is, can I select a roommate while I'm going in applying for housing? Well, the roommate selection comes after the student has gotten confirmed for housing. So right now, if a student is not confirmed, he or she cannot see the roommate selection part, because we don't disclose that right off the bat, because not all students is going to be confirmed just because you apply for housing. So that roommate selection comes a little bit later, when we know for sure that you have the highest chance of actually securing housing at the very end. And lastly, the meal plans, again, they'll come a little bit later in the process. The housing application just opened exactly two weeks ago. So all of that will come a little bit later. And I think that's pretty much it on my end.
Thank you so much, Mr. Long, for that information. I was going through the chat. I see one question. If a student signs up for housing or pays any money to housing, and then financial aid ultimately does not give them enough to cover housing, what types of options are available for the application fee or any deposits or payments they may have made prior to them moving into campus?
Yeah, so first they'll have to pay that $200 non-refundable fee to get everything started. And if I understand correctly, so according to the lease, they're going to be required to make June 1st installment payment, July 1st installment payment, and August 1st installment payment before they can actually move in. So they'll need to make 3 installment payments prior to moving in.
And if they make those payments and ultimately don't enroll at TSU, what is that process to have those payments refunded, if at all?
Correct. So those will be refunded to the credit or debit card that was used on file to actually make those installment payments, but they'll just have to email us and let us know that they're no longer coming to TSU. We'll just have to email student accounting, and they're pretty quick about doing that process.
Perfect. I see one question in the chat, and I hope this parent doesn't have an issue with me saying it out loud. I'm not going to say the parent's information, but I do see a question about the student is concerned about the hold and wants the hold removed. Parents, let me share with you that the hold is not a penalty. And I know that hold can be equated to penalty, but let me share with you that your child will have, your scholar will probably have a hold on their record the entire time they're at TSU for various reasons. That's not penalty related. We don't want to imagine if your student got into the portal and chose biology 999 as a doctoral student. Well, if that hold wasn't there, they may be able to do something in the system that they can't get out of. So that was maybe a bad example, but let me be clear about this, parents. Holds are not penalties. Holds are not negative. And if the scholar is thinking that, I need your help to get them to not think that a hold is a penalty. And I know that that may be how they see it, but it's not designed that way. It's designed to ensure that new students to our university know when it's time to do certain things. More importantly, when it's not time to do certain things. And our system doesn't always allow us to have embedded rates. I don't want the trauma of a hold to be something that keeps them from being able to focus. Holds are not penalties. They're not negative. They're just control mechanisms to allow us to help our new students be successful, not just getting out of TSU, but more importantly, coming into our university. So parents, we need your help with that, because if you're also traumatized behind that hold, I can only imagine how our scholars feel about that. And we are here to share with you. You may think you've turned in everything that you're required to, and you may have. That doesn't mean a hold is still not going to be present during the enrollment process. The holds are there to provide control. It is not there to provide negative or it's not a negative or a penalty type of situation. So please, parents, hear me say that. Holds are there to help, not to hurt, okay? And I hope that I helped that one parent who put that there. But if not, please email us and we're happy to assist further as we need to. Mr. Long, thank you so much for that good information. Please keep an eye out on the chat section. I'm seeing a lot of good questions about dollar amounts and whens and hows and whos and stuff like that. So you may be able to answer questions in the chat.
That girl really got a baby up there.
Ms. Barker, can you go on mute for me?
I'm sorry, I needed you to
Go ahead.
answer Mr. Long. Mr. Long, a parent asks about the payments. Why are they paying in June and July? When does the installment plan end?
Yeah, so the installment plan starts in June and it ends in April. So there's 10 installments amount, and parents, so, and I talk about this a lot because they do call and ask that. So the installment amounts are almost like prepayment. So if a student signs up, let's say, for example, for Towers, so their bill is $6,796 for the whole year. That's $3,398 per semester. So when a student pays 2 installments, basically they're paying 2 installments of $679.60 of the $3,398. They don't occupy the space in June or July, but what they're doing, they're paying down that amount. So by the time they get here, they won't have a full $3,398 that they're paying. So although they're not occupying the space literally through those months, they're basically paying it down.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And Mr. Long, what if I've paid one installment and then financial aid comes through and awards me enough for the whole year? What does that process look like? If I've paid one or more installment starting in June, and then maybe by July or August, I get a full award package, what is the process at that point for me as a scholar who's paid already for my installments to get a full award package subsequent to those payments?
Yeah, good question. So if a student is paid June 1st installment and financial aid has awarded them, let's say latter June, early July, well, again, we're still looking at that financial aid threshold. If they're over that, if they're at least at 20,000 for the year, then they do not need to pay the July and August, September, October, November for the whole year, because now we have enough aid that to where it'll get taken care of at 100%. It's just in June, if we don't have that information, only thing that we know is $679.60 is due, because we don't have enough information at the moment to ensure and unequivocally confirm the student right at the moment. So that's why we require that upfront payment, that housing amount upfront, because when aid gets processed to a student account, pays off tuition first, fees second, then meal plan and housing at that priority schedule. So housing, typically, we don't get ours right off the back. So that's why we require it up front. So when that aid gets processed, it's going to take care of tuition first. After all, they are here for school first. So it makes sense as to why the tuition gets paid off first. And it is the largest amount that costs the most. So after that, that's why we require that $679.60. So if the aid gets processed in the latter months, then it should take care of the remainder amount.
Okay, let me add to that. There could be a refund. If
Mhm.
there's enough money to cover everything and whatever you've paid, that comes back to you as a refund.
And parents, we hear you. We're reading the same chat out loud. Parents, we just need to ensure that your scholar has the financial resources to live on campus. It's not a penalty. It's not meant to get money out of you sooner. We hope that all of you will get 100% award package. I see Ms. Palmer on. Ms. Palmer, the goal is 100% award packages, but that's not realistic. Your incomes will determine how much you're able to receive in financial aid. Now, I know an approved Parent Plus loan, when I see one, many parents that may be able to get an approved Parent Plus loan might be a great resource. Even if you don't borrow the full amount that you need, the housing team, Ms. Barker and Mr. Ensign can correct me if I'm wrong, but an approved Parent Plus loan typically provides enough financial resources to cover them to live on campus. So that's a great way. If the finances, the real dollars aren't available, an approved Parent Plus loan might be a way to secure housing without having to pay the installment. But that's where Ms. Barker and Mr. Anderson can clarify that. But we want to make sure your scholar doesn't get into housing and struggles to get out of it financially. So that's why we have it set up starting in June 1st. By the time by the time the fall semester comes, they've paid quite a bit already. The last thing they got to worry about is paying their housing bill each month. So the team is working really closely with our parents and our scholars to get enough resources to ensure that's the last thing they have to worry about, is having their housing and meal plans covered.
Dr. Armstrong, I think what we need to also add is we have limited housing. So you have over 2,000 students that are, we're expecting, I think over 4,000 have been admitted to the university. Now, we don't know who's going to come here, but we have over 4,000. We don't have 4,000 beds. So we don't want you to come here in August with all your stuff saying, oh, I'm ready to move in. And then we say to you, we don't have any rooms for you. So by us having the payment plans due ahead of time, we're able to tell you ahead of time whether or not we have a room available for you. And then you can also, you have time to make other decisions in terms of where to stay if we don't have enough rooms on campus for you. But I am going to say that by July, we're normally full. So we give you a June 1st deadline because we're trying to get you to take advantage of it and you don't get into that situation where we may not have rooms available for you. But definitely by July, we're normally full in terms of housing.
Good.
And I see a question about, can FAFSA cover installment plans? The answer is no, because the installment plan comes after the FAFSA information. Once you get your financial aid award information, if you do not have enough funds to cover all of your tuition and fees, your housing and meal plans, that's when the installment plan starts, once your aid has been processed. So if you have a full award package, you don't need an installment plan. Your financial aid will cover your expenses. But if you only have a partial financial aid package, or you have a loan package and you decline the loans, or the loans aren't enough, that is when the installment plan starts in, because it allows you to pay over a 4 installment period to allow you to remain enrolled and be an officially enrolled student to the university. Let me see real quick. We are almost at 7:30 and I said it was going to be an hour conversation. So I'm already 24 minutes overdue. But when your scholars come to new student orientation, and I'm going to I don't think I have a slide that talks about the dates, but I'm going to actually close this PowerPoint soon, parents, and go to a live website, because many of you have asking about how does orientation work. And I want to give you an update on how that will work. But when they come to orientation on our campus, or when we do the virtual one for the summer students, we're going to talk about registration, financial freshmen and transfer advising services. We have a full team of individuals on our campus to help our new scholars during their first year. It's called that first year experience. And that's where they'll meet their academic advisor. That's when they're going to understand what it means to have a degree plan and register for classes and how to register for the right math at the right time for the right degree plan. So our first year advisors, our enrollment and completion advisors, will very soon begin to connect with our admitted scholars. We want to make sure, parents, that your scholars are confirming to attend TSU. As Ms. Barker said, she said we have 4,000 admitted students. We have 8,000 admitted students. And so we got a lot more students than we have classroom space for and bed space for and things like that. So confirming to attend is the great way to let us know I'm TSU bound. Then the magic of some of our, hands-on services, our intrusive services that we give to our confirmed students really kicks in. So you're going to see on the last slide that I'm going to share with you that confirm to attend in their TSU email is the very first thing we want them to do. If we have scholarship dollars, if there's a few limited things on campus to give out, a confirmed student gets it over a non-confirmed student every single time. So the very first thing you're going to want your scholar to do is confirm to attend TSU. And I'm going to show you how to do that tonight before we end this call.
Dr. Armstrong, we have a student, and this is their second time. Please, I need help to access my TSU email inbox. Where on the TSU portal do I access it?
Okay, we'll go to a live website. We'll go to a live website and we'll do that, okay? So hang tight for me, okay? All right, so let's see. This is the degree plan. So this is how, when you go with your advising schedule, I'm giving you parents, this is how the old school version looked. Classes by section, you take them all, you graduate. But the right-hand side shows you how to look at your degree plan in your portal. So you can actually see your classes, what's still missing. Parents, we need your help on this one. Sometimes our scholars listen to their friends. Oh, please, I took biology last semester and they took it for me. They'll take it for you. That is not how advising works. So please have your scholars understand we have official advisors for every major on our campus. They do not walk up and down the Tiger Walk. Those are not advisors. Those are people giving advice. So we want to make sure that your scholars, and very soon they will begin to connect with how to connect them with their advisor, register for classes, know what classes they need, and all of that good stuff, okay? So let me go here now to some of our amazing services. One of them let me see if I have my colleague still on. She may be hanging out with me still yet. Oh, Miss Davis Marsal, did I lose Miss Benavidez? I may have lost her.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Then Miss Benavidez, I didn't see you in my little area, but I
joined using Miss Marsal's link.
Okay, now I see it here. Well, Miss Benavidez, I'm highlighting the services that your office provides. I can imagine many of our parents are, and I've seen a few questions in the chat about some of the services we offer students. So can you share with them some of the things your office does to help our scholars be successful?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Tiger parents. I'm Sharon Benavidez, the Director of Student Accessibility Services, and this office offers academic accommodations to students with diagnosed disabilities. Students, the service is confidential. The disability information is not a part of the student's TSU educational record, and students must seek out the services by reaching out to the office via phone or email. Once we're able to speak with the students, we send out the application that the students are required to complete, and disability-related documentation is required in order for us to proceed with the eligibility process. An interactive interview is scheduled, and this gives the student an opportunity to self-report how that condition impacts the student and the learning environment. We then develop the accommodation plan, and that plan is sent out to the student and the current instructors per semester. I want you guys to know that we're here to support the students in regards to their academic needs. And I look forward to meeting your students and meeting you as well in regards to helping your students be successful in their academic performances. My contact information is there. Dr. Armstrong has my name there, my email there, and the office telephone number is 713-313-4210. Thank
All right,
you.
thank you so much, Ms. Benavides, for that information. I'm going to try to wrap up, and I'm going to go through a few of these slides, Ms. Barker, because I want to kind of make sure I save some time to go to the live website to show students how to log into their portal and how to see that the student orientation information. I also see Ms. Wilson on, and she's going to cover quickly some of the things her office covers, especially FERPA, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. I saw Ms. Wilson on earlier. Let me see, did I lose her? Let's see. Ms. Wilson, if not, we'll go ahead and I'll cover that area. Parents, it's very important to know that when your student enrolls at TSU, their rights, their records, their academic records are protected by federal law. That law is called the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. It is not based on their age. It is not based on your paying the university to have them come here. It's just the fact of enrolling at a university covers their, the law covers their academic records. But there is a way that the scholar can give you access to that information, and that is through a FERPA release form. That information is on our website. It's on the steps to enroll, and it also will be shared during new student orientation. So when you're a scholar and you come to orientation, that would be a great time to learn about the FERPA form, the FERPA policy, and how you can have access to your scholar's records. In essence, if we don't have a release on file for you parents, we can't share any information with you regarding your scholar's records here at TSU. So if you know you're going to need that information, go ahead and make sure that we get that FERPA form turned in. The Office of Student Records oversees our academic catalog, our academic calendar, and our drop withdrawal policy. Those may sound very light right now because your scholar hasn't enrolled, but once your scholar enrolls in classes at TSU, those three become very important because there are certain dates, there are certain guidelines and policies. There is a policy on how to drop and withdraw from the university. Parents, every semester we hear scholars tell us, well, I changed my mind, or my financial aid didn't come in, so I went to a different school. If you enroll with TSU, you must unenroll from TSU. Absence is not withdrawal. You have to, there's a form, there's a process. Please feel free to contact me. Many of you have my email. I've become you're probably the one person that you've seen emails quite a bit from. That's fine. That's my job here at TSU. But it's also my job to enforce policies and to ensure guidelines are adhered to. One of those major ones is dropping and withdrawing from the university. Parents, that's where you can help your scholar, because once they enroll, they have an obligation to our university until they withdraw or drop, if they choose either one of those options. So parents, I'm glad that you're on tonight because you become our biggest advocate and our ally. Remind your scholar, if they change their mind, that's okay, but they must withdraw. It's not just an email saying, hey, TSU, it's been real. There's a process and a policy that we're gonna, have them follow. We're gonna help walk them through it, but the key is walking them through it, not us doing it for them. There are some federal guidelines that prohibit us from doing that for the student, but we can help the student follow that. We'll talk more about that during our new student orientation sessions, but parents, now you know it's not a walk-away policy that absolves them of all things TSU. If they signed up, they must let us know, and we got to help them unsign up, okay? Remember when I said the steps to enroll? Well, this is pretty much the last slide, and this is actually the contact information and my TSU Proud. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick because I'm going to actually now go to a live website and I'm going to share with you. I've heard some of my scholars and parents say, hey, I don't know what I'm looking at and how this, so let's do that right now. So let me go to live TSU website. Now let me get back to you and close this out, and then let me share my screen. I'm going to share a live website with you. Mr. Long, what are you seeing right now? TSU website or my Zoom?
Yes, sir. I see TSU website.
Okay, perfect. So scholars and parents, I'm logging. Now, I'm not a student at TSU, not anymore, but I won't have the student link live. So remember that when you're a student, you'll have a student section, But I'm giving you the same advice I just gave you a moment ago. Any live website, you go deep in here. We got our new president here. One of my scholars is going to Harvard. Shout out to Cole. So all that, no matter where you go in our website, you can always go to the MyTSU portal. Now, before we go to the portal, those scholars and parents, click where it says, it says new student checklist right from our main website. You can click new student checklist, and that's the steps to enroll at TSU that I've been talking about all night. It's right there from our home page, new student checklist. Many of you've asked about new student orientation. This is how it's going to work. When you click this new student orientation link and you scroll down, those are the dates right there. I'm counting 2 clicks from homepage. My checklist, new student information. The question now is, how do you sign up for one of these amazing dates? Well, in your email, we sent you the link. And right here, it says, click here for information on how to register for new student orientation. You're going to get an email that looks similar to this in your email address. And our system will let us know if you received the email, if you opened it, if you clicked anything on here. It's a sensitive system. But you're going to see June, and you're going to be able to say, you know what? I'd like to sign up for June 12th. Mr. Armstrong's telling me early the better. So June 12th it is for me. You can't do it from a live website, though, parents and scholars. You're going to do it from the email, because in the email, we're going to send you some credentials, a temporary PIN number to confirm it's you. That's when you're able to actually pick June 12th and all that good stuff. We're just showing you an example of how it looks live. So parents, I know that you want to get in there and start playing with some dates based on your travel schedule and work schedule and things, but your scholar is going to have to log into their email, and they'll have to do that through their email. And if they need help, we're here to help them, but we can't do it for them, and you won't be able to do it for them either, because we got to get them in the understanding of how to go into their MyTSU email. So these are the dates we have for orientation. For our summer students, the only reason we're doing a virtual one because summer starts in a month from now. So we don't have a whole bunch of time to walk you around our campus. So we got a virtual coming up, but we do have 9 in-person sessions, parents. So one of the, and someone asked, what's the day like? It's about a 4-hour day, 9 to 1 o'clock. You get there at 9 o'clock. We go through a fun overviews. We take you to certain areas of our campus to verify where you are. We check to make sure you have a schedule. You can tour the housing facilities. You can meet with financial aid, student accounting, veterans, academic advisors. Imagine this being all, in a 4-hour window. So a nice morning, but the only reason we have it from 9 to 1 is you may need more time on our campus when you're here. If you've flown from California, 4 hours may not be enough time to walk around TSU, because the next time you'll be on campus, you'll be moving in and probably headed back home immediately after. So the orientation is a great time to come. So we won't end everything by 1 o'clock where you can't still go to various offices on campus. We're going to be open till 6 o'clock because it's going to be one of our workday weeks. But that's the process your scholars will do to sign up for orientation and to come to our campus. Parents, we invite you to come with them because you probably have way more questions than they will. And we'd love to have a chance to work with you and engage you and share with you as well. So that's the information, okay? Now I'm going to my live MyTSU portal. Same thing. I'm not a prospective student. It's been a long time since I was a prospect anything almost, but certainly not a prospective student. I'm a current staff member, so I count under this one as well. And so when I log into my portal, look at what I see right there. Outlook, check your email. Scholars, you looking at it right now? Because I'm showing live to you right now. This is live right now. That's where you can check your MyTSU emails right there. So, and spend some time, scholars. You're not going to get this by glancing at it. Those how-to videos, look right here where it says training library. If you get in here and you don't know what to do once you're here, click on training library. Look at all them fun videos. Look at all that we've stored in here for you. How to check your emails, how to check your financial aid, all the fun stuff there. So we got a lot of good stuff inside that portal for you. But once you get into that portal, right there is where you can check your MyTSU emails. All right, that is all the information that we wanted to share. We didn't plan on spending 1 hour and 40 minutes with you, but we will gladly spend 1 hour and 40 minutes with you if it gives you information that helps you prepare your scholar to become our new TSU Tigers. So I'm hopeful that you are now feeling I should have did a poll. How do you feel now earlier? And how do you feel now? I hope you feel a whole lot better now, but I guarantee you'll feel even better when you come to campus for new student orientation. And when you get a chance to walk with us, walk around the campus and meet with us and engage us on campus, because we're excited to have your scholars and parents. We're excited to have you join us here at our Tiger family, Texas Southern University. So with that being said, the last email that I was going to give out was an email address, admissions@tsu.edu, but you've had lots of QR codes and things like that throughout the evening. We are going to share this. Many of you may be watching this as a recording and not a live webinar. We are going to post this recording on our website, that same page that we showed you, the steps to enroll. We're going to put a live recording somewhere on that page so that parents who missed tonight or missed Thursday night will still get a chance to have at least this information shared with them before we see you in person over the summer. So to my colleagues, thank you for joining me tonight and being here tonight to answer questions. To our parents and to our scholars, have a great evening. Happy graduation, all the things that are about to happen that are milestones for you. We're excited to be one of those milestones, but you have a lot going on right now. So we congratulate you. We celebrate with you. We look forward to seeing you when you are on campus here over the next couple of months. We are here to serve and support you. So just let us know how we can serve and how we can support you. And we will see you very soon right here at Texas Southern University. Have a great evening, everyone, and go Tigers.